know you still suck.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's 8 p.m. Central, and time for the UT Amateur Radio Club Wednesday Night Net. Heard Wednesday night right here on this repeater. My name is Matthew, call sign KN4LRA, and I'll be your net control for the evening. This is a controlled net, meaning that stations should refrain from transmitting until designated check-in or comment time. You can hear us on the University Link repeater system, the N5 OAK repeater system, and now the W5AC repeater in College Station. There are other ways of checking into the repeater system, and you can find all the details at the websites ka5v.com/repeaters and n5oak.org/repeaters. Please give a couple of seconds between transmissions to allow all the system links to communicate with each other. Before we begin, is there any emergency or priority traffic on this frequency? If so, please call now. Nothing heard. We won't have any scheduled breaks to check for emergency traffic during the net this evening, but will gladly yield the air if any station calls in with emergency or priority traffic. All right, let's rock and roll. The UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net is a social net with the purpose of bringing local ham radio operators together to share knowledge, discuss club activities, and keep in touch. All hams are invited, both new and experienced, and no club membership is required. If you're new to the net, the way this works is very simple. In just a bit, we'll invite everyone listening to check into the net. We'll start off with short time check-ins for stations who just have a few minutes with us, then move on to general check-ins and comment time. Before we get started with check-ins, some quick announcements from the club. This weekend, the club will be traveling up to Belton for the Belton Ham Fest. We've got several of our members that are going to be piling in a car and making the trip up to connect with other radio operators and hopefully score some good deals this weekend. Really exciting stuff going on there. After Belton Ham Fest, we're also going to be meeting up with some members from the Texas A&M Amateur Radio Club, W5AC, to do some parks on the air operating. So really cool stuff there. If you're interested in learning more about what we're going to do this weekend, either send a message on the University Net chat on the N5OAK Discord, or send a message on the N5XU Discord as well, and we'll get you in the loop. For more information about the club, or if you'd like to get involved, please visit n5xu.org, where you can read more about the club and sign up for our email list. This evening, I've also taken advantage of the new University Net video net on the N5OAK Discord. So we're streaming live there, and you can take a peek into my little shack here that happens to be my desk in my dorm. If you want to come hang out, come join us on the University Net video net. We'll be here till the end of the net. You're listening to the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net, hosted by the University of Texas Amateur Radio Club every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. right here on the University Link repeater system and the N5OAK repeater system. My name is Matthew, call sign KN4LRA, and I am your net control this evening. Let's move on to net check-ins. During check-in, please key your mic, say "this is," unkey, and wait a moment to hear if anyone else started speaking at the same time. If it's clear, key in again, slowly and clearly state your call sign and your first name. We encourage you to use the standard ITU phonetics if you know them. This gives everyone the opportunity to learn the phonetics and makes it easier for me to write down check-ins. We'll start off with short time check-ins. If you're out there, know that you've just got a few minutes but still want to say that you've checked into the net. This is your opportunity. To keep things brief, we will not take general comments from the short time stations. Short time stations, please call now. Nothing heard. Let's do one more call for short time stations for the UT Amateur Radio Club Wednesday Night Net. If you don't want to check in a short time, please call now. Nothing heard. Let's move on to general check-ins. After we've got a few people checked in, we'll give the floor to each of you and then to any stations who wish to respond. If we don't get to you during the first round of check-ins, stick around. There will be plenty of opportunities to check in throughout the evening. Again, no club membership is required. Any licensed operators are welcome and encouraged to participate. General check-in stations, please call now.
KI5, ZTW, Blake and Spicewood.
All right, I heard Blake and one other station, but y'all doubled, so I didn't catch either call sign. If y'all could try again. Let's go Blake first.
KI5, ZTW, Blake and Spicewood.
All right, I've got KI5ZTW, that's Blake and Spicewood. Thank you for checking in. Let's give the other station a try.
Kilo 5, Echo Juliet Lima, Joe in East Austin.
Hey, Joe, welcome back to the net. That's K5EJL. Any other general check-ins, please call now.
This is Zulu November, Ernesto in East Austin.
Ernesto, welcome back to the net. That's KI5PZN.
This is Kilo India 5, Zulu India Echo, John, North Austin.
All right, we've got KI5 Zulu India Echo, that's John. Welcome to the net. Any other general check-ins, please call now.
Kilo India 5, Tango India Alpha, Young.
Young, great to hear you on the air tonight. That's KI5TIA. Welcome back. Any other general check-ins, please call now. Nothing heard. Well, let's start off the evening by checking in with Blake, KI5ZTW. Blake, how's your week going? Nothing heard. Let's give one more call for Blake for comment. KI5ZTW from KM4LRA. Blake, are you still out there? Nothing heard. Well, I guess, Joe, you get to be the first one up for comment this evening. K5EJL. Joe, great to hear you on the net again. How are you doing?
Oh, good for an old geezer, Matthew. No, about the only thing I can report is that over at K5LBJ at Lhasa High School today, we're trying to get FT8 going. We're not quite transmitting yet, but we are decoding. And on 10 meters, I would say from about as early as 9 o'clock this morning all the way into noon, there were stations calling CQ all over the world. I mean, there was China, Angola, every continent except Antarctica. I'd really never seen anything like it.
Well, that's awesome. It's great to hear that 10 meters is open. Just curious, what kind of equipment are y'all running down there at the K5LBJ Club?
Well, we've got several transceivers. The one that we're working on currently was loaned to the club by Lou Thompson, W5IFQ, and it's an ICOM 7200, and we have loaded WSJTX on Ubuntu Linux, the latest version with all the updates. But what we didn't have is what we haven't set up yet is control of the transceiver, which has to be done through that ICOM interface. So, but we have that, and we have the cables for it, and we'll eventually get there. But that's what's happening over there. K5EJL, back to net.
Well, I've always been a big fan of the ICOM stuff. My HF rig back home is an ICOM. It's IC718 that was given to me. But I just pulled up the IC7200 on the ICOM website, and man, that's a really good-looking transmitter. So really cool that you guys get to play around with that. I got one more question for you. You said that there was a ICOM control cable that you had to use to be able to do the control of the transmitter from the computer. Is that something that you have to buy, or is that something that you could make?
Well, it's possible to make them, although unless one is experienced, it's with doing such things, I wouldn't recommend starting out with that. But what they do is they control the computers inside the ICOM radios with a serial port, but it is a bit serial port, but the voltage levels are TTL, 0 to 5 volts approximately. And they have addresses. It's kind of like it's almost like a one-wire bus. They're all on the connector interface is a 3.5 millimeter phone plug and jack. But the box that ICOM sells, it's called a CI-V or 5, I guess it is. I don't know, maybe just V for voltage, or computer interface, CI. It translates from RS-232C on a DB25 connector into 4 of these ICOM ports. So you can, with that little box, you can plug 4 ICOM connectors in together and control them with a computer. So that's the kind of thing. We have one of the boxes. I'll get some of the students to make up cables if we don't have them in the shop someplace, and we'll get it on there. Back to net, K5EJL.
Very cool. Well, good luck with that project. I happened to Google that CIV ICOM cable. There's all kinds of knockoffs that you can find on Amazon for as little as $15, but I've got to imagine that they're probably not the highest quality thing. So definitely hope to hear you on the net again in the future, and really exciting to hear from you about 10 meters opening up with the FT8 connections that you were receiving earlier. So Joe, thank you so much for checking into the net this evening. Let's go ahead and open up the floor for any questions or comments for Joe. If you'd like to come with a question, a comment, or just want to say hi to Joe, please call now with your call sign and your name.
This is N5LX.
Sky, go ahead.
Yeah, I just thank Joe for mentioning bringing up the propagation and the FT8 project. I think he said that was at a high school. That is pretty awesome. And but I appreciate him mentioning that, because I haven't been on, or at least on HF in a while, and that kind of gives me a little inspiration to get back on the air. And I just pulled a website open, and it looks like the solar flux index is going to be pretty high for the next couple of weeks, especially in the next week. So if anybody else is listening, definitely check it out. It should be fun. Comment.
I heard a comment. Go ahead.
SKI5 ZTW Blake and Spicewood. Yeah, the 10 meter band as a technician has been on fire lately, and it's pretty awesome. It's going to be here for a while. Today was phenomenal. Actually, at 4:20 p.m. I actually made contact. He got me at a 5.5 in Auckland, New Zealand, which is incredible. 7,000 miles away on 10 meters.
Wow, that's really exciting. Really cool. Was that on single sideband?
Say that again.
What mode were you using for the contact with New Zealand? Was that single sideband?
Absolutely. I was on 28 488 upper sideband and running 100 watts on an ICOM 7300. And believe it or not, with a vertical chameleon impasse antenna. I haven't set up my dipole yet. I have it, but I haven't installed it yet. So I'm just using my mobile HF antenna, which is a chameleon whip, basically vertical.
Well, that's great. All this chatter about HF and the propagation is making me really disappointed that the UT Shack is still not on the air given the construction. But maybe once I get graduated here in a few weeks, I'll be able to get back home and set up a dipole and hop back on HF because, man, if the propagation is still this good in a few weeks, I'm going to want to get on HF again soon as well. Any other questions or comments for Joe or Sky or Blake as well, please come now. Well, gentlemen, thank you all for jumping in and commenting here. And Joe, thank you so much for checking in. Really exciting news about the propagation on 10 meters. And I look forward to hearing more about more good news about propagation the rest of this week and in the future. Sky, I'm going to go ahead and throw you on my list of check-ins here. And if you're still around at the time that we get to you, we'd love to hear from you. But now let's go back to Blake since we didn't catch you earlier, KI5ZTW. Blake, great to hear from you there. Do you have anything else that you'd like to share with the net this evening?
Hey, no, thanks for hosting tonight. And that was actually what I was going to share was my longest DX to date. I've only been a ham for about 2.5 months. And since 10 meters has been on fire, I've actually did Aruba, Martinique, Brazil, Colombia, and a few places in Canada, but yeah, definitely New Zealand today was a highlight of my HF log.
Man, congratulations on that. I remember my first HF DX contact. Maybe this was probably 2 or 3 years ago, not long after I got my first HF transceiver. I believe the contact was somewhere in Africa. I was on 20 meters with a simple dipole that I set up in the backyard. And man, that was really exciting. It was one of my first HF contacts ever. And I have not gotten nearly as lucky recently with my HF. I got to do some work on that antenna because it is not the greatest antenna around. But really exciting stuff there, and definitely want to congratulate you on the DX contacts there. That is very exciting. Let's go ahead and open up the floor for any questions or comments for Blake. Please call now. Nothing heard. Well, Blake, thank you so much for checking into the night and throwing in that great story about your DX contact there. Super cool stuff. I think it's about time for a station ID. You are listening to the UT Amateur Radio Club Wednesday Night Net, heard Wednesday nights starting at 8 p.m. right here on the University Link repeater system and the N5 OAK repeater system. My name is Matthew, call sign KN4LRA, and I am your net control for the evening. Let's move right on down the list to our next check-in. That's Ernesto, KI5PZN. Ernesto, welcome back to the net. And just want to say, given this is the first time I've congratulated you, or talked to you since then, congratulations on being elected president of the Austin Amateur Radio Club. Really exciting stuff, man. Great to have you on the net. And is there anything you'd like to share with us tonight?
This is KI5PZN. Hey, Matthew, thank you for running the net, and hello to everybody listening and participating on the net. No, not a whole lot. Just wanted to get my name on the log. I've just been working like a crazy maniac, and I will be working like a crazy maniac until Tuesday. But then after that, life, turns back to normal. Although I'm gonna take a little break on Saturday because Belton. But yeah, that's about it. It's funny. I hear you guys talking about 10 meters and propagation, and I start drooling here. Let me let it be there for a second. Yeah, it's pretty wild how 10 meter gets. Yep, I think my longest DX contact there has been also New Zealand, and it's still my record there. But yeah, it's exciting. So if you guys have 10 meters, don't forget that it's happening this time. Let's see, that's about it. I'm still working, and I have to get back to it. So thanks again for running the net, and then back to you. This is KI5PZN.
Well, thank you for taking a few minutes off from your work this evening to check into the net. Always great to have you here. And hopefully you'll get in your next break from work an opportunity to work a little bit on HF. So thanks again for checking in. Let's open the floor real quick for any questions or comments for Ernesto. Please call now.
KI5 ZTW. Hey, Ernesto. Congrats on becoming the president of the Austin Club, man. It's really cool.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm still, Sonny, I don't feel like I've been able to get started on that due to work, but I'll get there and I'll make some noise pretty soon. Thanks again. KI5PZN back net.
Any other questions or comments for Ernesto, please call now. Nothing heard. Well, let's move right on down the list to our next check-in. That's John, KI5 Zulu India Echo. John, happy Wednesday. Great to have you here. How's your week going, man?
Well, the week is mainly a bunch of dumb work stuff, and I'm halfway between one surgery and the next one, and I've been hurting a lot. But enough of that negativity. I just want to thank you all for talking about all this HF talk. Just gets me excited and give me something positive to think about. And I gotta make a plan on getting an HF radio and get into that. I got the general, so what am I waiting for? So anyway, that's about it. Not really anything, but I appreciate this. Is very uplifting to hear right now. So thank you all. This is John, Kilo India 5, Zulu India Echo, back to net.
Well, John, thank you so much for checking in this evening. Definitely do make a plan, get a radio, and get on HF, because it's going to be good fun here going forward. Going to be some great propagation. I am really disappointed right now. I'm supposed to be headed down to New Orleans this weekend for regional championship with the UT sailing team, and I made this whole plan to be able to take a VHF and UHF rig along in our rental car. I went and I bought a magnet mount for my antenna and the whole 9 yards to be able to operate VHF and UHF. And now I'm thinking maybe I should have allocated some of that funds to a different area and tried to get something that I can have on HF in the car, given that I'm going to be sitting there for 10 hours each way. But, you live and learn, and sometime in the future I'll be able to get on HF in the car as well soon enough. John, thank you again for checking in. Let's open up the floor for questions or comments for John. If you'd like to say hi, please call now.
This is N5LX.
Sky, go ahead.
Yeah, John, I wish you good luck with your surgery or whatever it is, and I hope it goes well. I've had some surgery in the last month, so I don't know what yours is, and you don't have to say anything. I mean, I feel for you, and I hope it really goes well, and definitely encourage you to get a great HF rig and have some fun with it. It's I don't know, it's a psychologically positive thing. You can have a lot of fun, reach out and talk to some people, and you never know what you'll find. What you can come up with on 10 meters, especially. The propagation is going to be amazing, and maybe you'll make some new friends. Anyway, good luck with the surgery. I hope it goes well. This is N5LX, over.
Thank you, KI5ZIE, John. Appreciate that. Yes, it's very positive, and it's going to help. Thank you.
Sky, thank you for jumping in there with that uplifting message. Any other questions or comments for John, please call now.
KI5PZN.
Ernesto, go ahead.
Hey, John. Hope that things get well, and with the surgery and everything goes well, and you start feeling better soon. What I was going to say is that if you get the HF rig and you need any help putting that antenna up, shoot me a message, man. We'll find a bunch of nerds and go over there and help you out, because I know you're recovering. So we're more than happy to get you all set up when you get the chassis all taken care of. So don't hesitate to shoot me a message, man. This is KI5PZN.
Thank you very much, Ernesto. The biggest problem I have is if I drop something on the floor, I can't bend over to pick it up. So my whole place is just full of stuff that I've dropped on the floor, waiting for somebody to pick up. So get my grandkids to do it when I can, but there it is. Thank you. KI5ZIE, back to net.
All right, thank you, Ernesto. Any other questions or comments for John, please call now. Nothing heard. Well, John, thank you so much for checking in tonight. And from all of us here at N5XU, we do want to wish you well in your upcoming surgery. And we hope to hear you on the net again in the future. All right, let's move right on down the list to Young, KI5TIA. Young, how's your week going? I hope the exams and all aren't hitting you too hard. Are you one of the lucky ones in the boat not having too much to do this week, or is this a tough week for you?
Well, I have one midterm on Friday, so I'm comparatively lucky. But I do have to, I have a lot of stuff to do, I've got to prepare for Belton, and was reminded that I need to somehow acquire a battery for the portable operations we're hopefully going to do afterwards with the A&M people. And I guess this doesn't really need repeating, but if any club members are listening, we do have transportation organized for Belton this Saturday, and if you can go, please let me know so we can make sure there's enough space and all that. But other than that, I haven't really gotten, I don't really have too much ham news, considering the shack has been out of operation. But yeah, thanks for running the net, Matthew, and back to net control.
Awesome, man. Well, I am really bummed that I am not going to be able to make it up to Belton this weekend. It was a hard decision between whether I wanted to go sailing with the UT team or whether I was going to come up to Belton with y'all. And something about the opportunity of an all-expenses-paid trip to New Orleans happened to swing me that way. But it'll be a good time, I hope. At the moment, the wind and the weather forecast isn't looking too great for us. There's supposed to be rain all day on Saturday associated with this tropical storm that's hanging out down in the Gulf of Mexico right now. So maybe it's going to end up that I kind of get rained out and that I should have just gone to Belton. But either way, I think it's going to be a good time, and I'm really excited to hear all the fun stories from both Belton and the portable operation that y'all are going to be doing up there afterwards. Break. And on the topic of batteries, I know both you and David happen to know exactly what my truck looks like and where I park it, but please don't come steal my battery. No, all jokes aside, good luck with that. I think it's going to be really exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing pictures and hearing more about that event. So thank you so much for the work that you've put in to put that together for the club, and I hope you all have a great time. One more time for any of the other club members that are out there lurking, please, if you want to go to Belton, go ahead and jump on the N5XU Discord and send a message to Young, and he will make sure that you get set up with a ride up there. All right, let's open up the floor for any questions or comments for Young. If you want to comment, question, or just say hi, please call now.
Oh, well, KF5TA, I have a comment for you.
Go ahead, buddy.
No worries on missing Belton. I'm sure going to New Orleans is hopefully more fun, and hopefully the storm doesn't hit. That would be very unfortunate. That's all I was about to say. Hope you have fun, and I guess there's always another time you could go to Belton if you stay in Texas. But KF5TA, back to net control.
Oh, I'm sure I'll end up there eventually. I got at least 2.5 more years in Texas, so I'll end up there eventually. It's just not going to be this time, but I'll definitely look forward to it. Hey, while I'm thinking about it, I got one more question for you. Did you change something about your radio setup this evening? I noticed there's a little bit more of an echo in the background than there is normally.
Oh, sorry, that's for me?
Yes, it is.
I'm currently in my room over Echolink. I was a bit too lazy to go outside. Other than that, I didn't make any other change. I think the previous times I connected through Echolink, I was short time, so probably didn't hear too much of an echo. KF5TA.
Gotcha. It's got to be the Echolink thing. I know sometimes the microphones and the phones can do that. So that completely explains it. I guess have been comparing your audio now to the previous times that you've been RF. So that definitely makes sense there. But for Echolink, the audio sounds great. I would not have guessed that you were on Echolink if you hadn't said it. So I'm going to go ahead and give that overall positive review. Let's open up the floor again for any other questions or comments for Young. Please call now. Nothing heard. Well, Young, thank you for checking in on the net this evening, and good luck on your studies this week. And I'm excited to hear about all the fun stories from Belton this weekend. So definitely post some messages and some photos on the Discord, and I will be watching from New Orleans. Let's move right on down the list to Sky N5LX. Sky, great to hear you on the net this evening. Do you have anything else to share with us?
This is N5LX. Not much going on. I mean, I'm just enjoying this beautiful weather. Got the windows open. I guess I missed your check-in, and I turned the radio on and heard the net, and just wanted to join in and say hi to everybody. Let's see. Well, I finally finished building a cable so that I can power. I have borrowed a service monitor from my old supervisor, and I was going to take it out, battery powered. I was going to take it out to the site where we found some interference that was getting into the output of the 147.32 Oak Hill Club repeater. I was going to take it out there and see if it's still going on, if I can, gather some more information. That's kind of the project I'm working on now, and that's about it. Since the weather's nice, I think I'm going to work on an antenna this week too. But other, just enjoying the weather, and like I said earlier, I appreciate Joe making a comment about HF. I think I'm going to get back on HF this week too, and I hope everybody else does the same, because I was just looking at the forecast, and the solar flux forecast looks like it's going to be really high in the next few days. This is N5LX. Oh, and thanks for hosting the net, Matthew. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Sky, and thank you for checking in this evening. I will definitely be interested to hear if you gather any new insights into what's going on down there at the site interfering with the 320 machine. That's definitely a little bit out of my domain of expertise, happening to be the only one of the members of the UT Amateur Radio Club who is not an electrical engineer. So I definitely enjoy watching on the Discord and reading about all these things that you guys seem to be experts in when it comes to dealing with things like the interference and all of the fun work that y'all do. But definitely would look forward to hearing more about what your findings are there. And also enjoying the good weather as well here. I know my roommate's one of those guys that really likes to have the windows open, so we are going to do the exact same thing this evening and enjoy the fresh air, at least as long as it lasts for a couple more days here. I know it's going to start getting hot pretty soon, but we need to enjoy it while we have it, that is for sure. I'm hopefully headed out to the lake tomorrow afternoon to do a little bit of practice before the event in New Orleans this weekend with the sailing team. So hopefully the weather holds out into tomorrow afternoon. I have not, in fact, checked the forecast yet, but definitely looking forward to enjoying the nice weather as well. So, Sky, thank you so much for checking in this evening. It's great to have you here and on the net. Let's open up the floor for any questions or comments for Sky. Please call now. Well, nothing heard. I think it's about time for another station ID. You are listening to the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net, hosted by the University of Texas Amateur Radio Club every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. right here on the University Link repeater system and the N5OAK repeater system. My name is Matthew, call sign KN4LRA, and I am your net control for the evening. We've reached the end of my check-in list, and that means that it's time to open up the floor for more general check-ins. If you want to check in and share something with the net, please call now with your call sign and your first name. We'll take all the new general check-ins and then go down the list just like we did before. General check-ins, please call now.
This is Kilo India 5 Victor Echo X-Ray, Ilya, Austin.
This is KB5MPJ, Kilo Bravo 5, Mike Papa Juliet, Jason and Buda.
All right, we've got KI5VEX, Ilya, and KB5MPJ, Jason. Gentlemen, welcome to the net this evening. Any other general check-ins, please call now. Nothing heard. Well, let's start off by checking in with KI5VEX. That's Ilya. Ilya, welcome to the net. I think this is the first time that we've heard you on the Wednesday night net here, so I want to wish you a warm welcome to the net. Excited to hear anything that you have to share with us or how your week's going.
This is KI5VEX. Thank you for warm welcome. Everything going pretty well. Was taking care about the 10 meters and 20 meters, and for some reason, I don't know, for me 10 meters for the last couple of days was pretty
silent, and I have no idea if it's just my antenna, my radio, or just my luck. I tried to call CQ several times, but it just didn't work. Opposite to this, 20 meters was just amazingly open for the last couple of days for me. I was able to reach very strong signal from Russia, actually. There was one guy from Russia, like 5'9 plus. It was amazing signal, like he was talking just a couple of feet from me. Japan was working fine on 20 meters as well. So just want to say, like, 20 meters was just amazingly booming. I will take a pause. And the second thing, I just want once again congratulate Ernesto on being the president of the club, which I'm also in, and I wish you great luck there, and hope to see you on next club meeting. Hopefully we'll have some in-person meeting as well. That's probably all. Back to Nat.
Very interesting to hear about your experience there, both on 10 meters and 20 meters. I know I personally tend to hang out closer to the 20 meters area. That's definitely not driven by the fact that the T-band antenna at the Club Shack here doesn't work on 10 meters, but does happen to work on 20 meters. But very interesting that you had that differing experience from the other gentlemen that we've talked to this evening. And kind of curious about what the answer is to why that experience was a little bit different. I know you don't have the answer, but maybe someone else out there does. So let's go ahead and open up the floor for any questions or comments for Ilya. Please call now.
FIPZN.
Ernesto, go ahead.
Hey, Ilya, good to hear from you, and thanks again for the kind words. Don't feel bad, man. I work from home, and well, I've been working like a crazy maniac, but today I took a little break. I take a couple of breaks during the day, and every once in a while I go and turn on the HF radio just to see. And I turned on the radio today in 10 meters, and it was completely dead. It's probably timing. Maybe just, we're getting in when people are going out to take a bathroom break or something. But you're not the only one. That's all. Back to that. KFIPZN.
Yeah, this is KF5EX. Thank you. Yeah, that's probably the case. I don't know, but just a week ago, I was working on 10 meters with so many contacts across the globe, and last couple of days, actually 3-4 days, last 3-4 days, it was like empty for me. But maybe, like I said, maybe it's just luck, maybe it's propagation, maybe it's just propagation for, my house or location, my QTH, who knows. But anyway, we'll continue to try. I built a separate 10-meter antenna, which is basically a dipole. It's double bazooka, but it's basically a dipole. And it was serving me well. So I will see. Maybe some water gets inside. I need to verify. Maybe that's why I'm not hearing too many stations on 10 meter. But I will check this out. Anyway, yep, I will try. Thank you. Back to Nat.
Well, Ilya, thank you so much for checking in this evening. It's great to hear you on the net, and we hope to hear you in future weeks as well. Thank you again. Let's move right on down the list to Jason, KB5MPJ. Jason, welcome back to the net, and I would love to hear anything that you have to share with us this evening.
This is KB5MPJ. Yeah, I've had the same experience in the past few days with 10 meters. It had been really active for like the last probably 4 months at least. You could almost count on it every day to be really active. And it has been down for me too. I just finished installing a new transformer for my antenna. I've got a NFET half wave, and I don't think it's ever going to be the best performer on 10 meters, but I was kind of suspecting the antenna or transformer, since it kind of coincided with when I installed it, noticing that the band wasn't quite as hot, but I tried it with different antennas that I know are good. And I've also tried 11 meters. Usually when it's hot, I can count on 11 meters being good in my vehicle. And both have been kind of dead. So I checked solar weather, and I'm no expert on solar weather, but from what I gathered or what I understood of it, it looks like the activity is down a little bit. So even though we are on an upswing of the solar cycle, we may have just had a kind of a slow few days here. So hopefully it'll be picking back up. It should. That's the trend. So it should, as we're on the upswing in the solar cycle activity, it should start to come back alive. So it's not just you. I was kind of wondering the same thing if it was me, but I think it's just the bands. So that's kind of what I've been up to radio-wise, messing with that NFED, and I think I am also at some point going to put up a 10-meter dipole, because I don't think this antenna will ever be the best. I think it'll work on 10 meters, but I think I might be happier with a dedicated antenna for that band, so I think eventually I will put one up. I do want to wait until the band gets active and give it a try again, but I'll probably be putting up a dedicated antenna at some point too. So that's what I've been up to radio-wise. KB5MPJ, back to net.
Fun stuff, Jason. Well, a very interesting project that you've got going on there, and I'll be very excited to hear once you've got that all set up, and hopefully we'll hear you on the air through some of those new antennas. So very cool there, and great to have you on the net this evening. Let's go ahead and open up the floor for any questions or comments for Jason. Please call now.
This is KI5VX. Thank you very much for confirming my issue. One thing I want to add, so I have two antennas. One antenna is NFED 4010. Interesting observation on 10 meters because of multiple lobes it creates NFED halfway. In some cases, not usual, but in kind of 20% of the cases, I actually can hear much better on NFED halfway than the dipole, because dipole basically broadside, and NFED halfway has like, I don't remember, 8 lobes or something like this. It's a third harmonic. So in some cases, just much better. So it's kind of interesting to switch between antennas and see which one is working better for this particular contact. Back to net.
KV5MPJ.
Jason, go.
Yeah, so I think I've had the same experience with the half wave. I have an 80 through 10. It was a random wire, basically 80 through 10. But even with the half wave, I think I'm having similar performance. I need to wait till the band is up, active to decide. But I think I have the same thing going with lobes. It has even more lobes on an 80 through 10. And I get really good performance. I know kind of in a northeastern and northwestern, like I can reach the coasts really well. And then like due north into Canada, and other points in between, are kind of dead. So I think I'm experiencing that where I've got really good propagation to certain areas, and deaf, kind of deaf areas where my nulls exist. I kind of want to see how it goes with the dipole. Because like pretty much if I hear somebody coming from the northeast, I always feel like I can count on being able to contact them, but other places not so much. So I'm curious to see how it goes with a dipole and see if it kind of evens out a little bit. KB5MPJ.
Well, very interesting. I enjoy listening to y'all chat about this stuff as well. I only own one HF antenna, that is the 20-meter dipole that I made myself that I mentioned earlier. So once I've got a more permanent location to be able to set up more antennas, I will delve deeper into what seems like an endless rabbit hole of building more antennas. And I'm looking forward to it for sure. I just got to get myself a little more situated in a permanent location before I do that. Any other questions or comments for Jason, please call now. Nothing heard. Well, let's do a quick station ID, then we'll look for some more check-ins. You're listening to the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net, hosted by the University of Texas Amateur Radio Club every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. right here on the University Link repeater system and the N5 OAK repeater system. My name is Matthew, call sign KN4LRA, and I am your net control for the evening. We've reached the end of the general check-in list. That means it's time to open up the floor for any additional general check-ins. If you're out there, you've been listening this whole time and want to get your name on the log, this is your opportunity. Please call now with your call sign and your first name. Nothing heard. Well, I guess that's going to round out the evening for us. Thank you so much for joining us for the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net. We are a service of the University of Texas Amateur Radio Club, call sign N5XU. We're right here every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. for the net. We are the official amateur radio club of the University of Texas at Austin. For more information, please visit n5xu.org, where you can read more about the club and sign up for our email list. Thanks again for joining us this evening. My name is Matthew, call sign KN4LRA, and for Mike QTH here in North University, 7-3, and thanks again. This system is now returned to regular amateur use.